All right, so um, firstly, before I start, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Hawashai, and Valentine's Day is coming up. You know what I'm saying? And I already got a video uploaded that talks about the origins of Valentine's Day. So we're kind of on this whole, I guess you could say, theme of love and everything. And I want to explain in this video who not who, but I think I already made a video talking about who are enemies that we should love. But now I'm gonna talk about hate. It's kind of the opposite of love, but it's kind of still tied into this whole, you know what I'm saying, love, romance, Valentine's Day theme or whatever you want to say, even though that holiday is wicked and everything. But um I want to focus on in this video whether or not we should abhor an Edomite. Whether or not we should abhor an Edomite. Now, I'm gonna make two parts to this because of the fact that this first part, I'm gonna break down the scriptures. In the second part, I'm kind of like, answer the question of should we hate white people, right? So this part right here, this part one, and I'm kind of like I said, I'm gonna actually go to the scripture where it says, "Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite," and I'm gonna break that down so y'all can understand exactly what that scripture means. Because a lot of people, when they just read one verse, it can be taken out of context. That is why you got to go deeper into these scriptures. You got to go to the Hebrew, got to go to the definition of certain words, got to go to the context and understand like everything. Because even though it may seem like a very simple sentence or a simple verse, like there could be something deeper behind that that can help you get a full and complete understanding. You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. And as y'all already know, like every video that I make, you know what I'm saying, I plan to have it be like a little bit of a class session, you know what I'm saying, so y'all can take out some notes and everything, and hopefully y'all can get edified through the spirit. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to Deuteronomy real quick. I'm gonna go to the verse that everybody used to validate, because when it comes down to the Hebrew Israelites, of course, we all believe that, well, not all, because there are certain camps who, they have a huge love, for the white man, but it is the majority of Hebrew Israelite camps believe that the white man is a so-called devil in the Bible, right? And that, a lot of them are evil, you know what I'm saying? So and a lot of people, I guess, take the fact that we say that we got to keep the law, and they try to take that and use it against us. You know what I'm saying? But when you have an understanding of the word, nobody can use your own Bible against you. You know what I'm saying? If you have a complete understanding of it, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of Christians try to take that angle where it's like, oh, they go to Deuteronomy 27:3, not 3, 27. Is 27 or is it 17 or is it 23? Am I tripping? Yeah, Deuteronomy 23:7, Slakia. Yeah, Deuteronomy 23:7, where they use that and be like, oh, so you say you should keep the law, right? So a part of your law says that you shouldn't hate an Edomite. So why are you going around saying that the white man is the devil? And it's like people got to understand exactly the context of what it's talking about in this entire verse or whatever, right? Or in this entire chapter. So let's read the verse that everybody go to when it comes down to whether or not we should abhor or hate an Edomite. So look, it says right here, thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother, and thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian. Now, one thing that I don't like, and that I really hate the fact that every time when it comes down to I guess salvation for people, whenever we talk about salvation, we always, of course, everybody want to always be like, oh, what about the white man? What about the white man? It's never about anybody else. Even in this verse, they just use it for the advantage of the white man, but instead the Egyptian too. So it's like, what about the Egyptian? What about the African man? What about the Asian? What about them? Or what about the other people? Why is it always got to be the white man who has to receive everything? You know what I'm saying? why you always think about them first, not anybody else? You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's very annoying. But it says you shouldn't abhor an Edomite or Egyptian because thou wast a stranger in this land, right? And it says the children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their third generation. So keep this verse in mind. This is very important to understand the context of what this is saying, right? Now, let me go to my notes real quick. Lock you, because I didn't have my notes pulled up. But all right. So this is what I want to do firstly. Firstly, let's go to the Google version or definition of the word abhor. So Google says that the word abhor means regard with disgust and hatred, right? So it means detest to hate. So basically, everybody knows that the Google dictionary definition of the word abhor is hate, or it says also from Oxford or whatever it may be. So that's the Google in, I guess, English definition of the word abhor. But this is why you got to understand Hebrew and Greek. When you understand the Hebrew and Greek in the original language that the Bible was written in, you'll be able to really, break down a lot of verses. When you just read it from, a modern standpoint, you won't be able to really understand the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you got to go into the original text, Masoretic text, the Dead Sea Scrolls, all that stuff to really understand exactly what each word means that's being used in the context, right? So let's go to the Hebrew definition in the Hebrew context of the word abhor. Because at the same time, like of course, the word abhor is still referring to hatred, but let's see what context it's talking about in this verse or in this whole chapter, right? So look, it says to abhor. So of course, the word abhor means hate, but it says in a ritual sense, in a ritual sense, or ethical sense, whichever one. Both those, like interchangeable, but in a ritual sense. So what does it mean when it says in a ritual sense? Because I'm gonna explain. So remember, like I said in verse 8, it's talking about the congregation. What is this congregation? What is it referring to when it says that they shouldn't enter into congregation? What is it talking about? So let me go to Lamentations real quick to show y'all what this congregation is. All right. The Lamentations 1. And I'm gonna go to verse 10 to show y'all what exactly it's talking about, right? So it says in Lamentations 1 and 10, it says the adversary, meaning basically talking about the enemies of the Israelites, right? The adversary have spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things, for she have seen that the heathen, so when it says she, it's talking about the Israelites, but it says that she have seen that the heathen or other nations, right, entered into her sanctuary, talking about the temple that we had before it was destroyed. I'm gonna get into that too a little bit to show y'all how this temple ties into this whole thing. But it says into how the heathen enter into our sanctuary. Then it says, whom thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation. So this was a commandment that was mentioned in this chapter. But I'm gonna go to the verse where it says that someone shouldn't enter into our temple or sanctuary, right? Or congregation, whichever one you want to say, because those three words, they're all interchangeable, all the same things. So look, Deuteronomy 23 and verse 3 says, an Ammonite, which is the Asian man, or a Moabite, which is the Chinese man, they shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. So it was basically forbidden for the Ammonites, or it still is forbidden for the Ammonites and Moabites to enter into our temple, right? That temple that was in Jerusalem, they should not enter into that at all, ever, right? And this ties into the whole context of that word abhor. Once again, when you go to that word abhor, it says it means in a ritual sense. So if y'all know about the history of our temple, In that temple, we kept many of our laws and customs, right? That temple was very important to the Israelites at that time because we did a lot of things within that temple, whether it be breaking bread, whether it be eating, whether it be a celebration, whatever it may be, whatever the temple was used for, it was used in a ritual sense, like it says right here. It was used for certain rituals and customs that we kept. That was a part of our, our Hebrew culture, right? So when it says to not abhor an Edomite, like I said, that word abhor means in a ritual sense. So when it comes down, it's talking about the temple. So the Edomites and the Egyptians, they basically can mingle with us, and I guess do certain rituals and keep certain customs in this temple together. That's what it means when it says to not abhor them in that way. It also says be abominable, do abominably. So basically meaning that we shouldn't do anything that goes against the law, because you do know that that the temple or things, there were certain laws that pertain to the temple, like how we had to go to the temple and do this. It was something I can't remember. I can't remember right now, but there was a certain law where you had to do something with the temple. So anything that you did that broke the law was considered abominable. You know what I'm saying? So basically, we had to keep the law, basically, and we could, like I said, interact with the Edomites and the Egyptians, but it says only into the third generation, right? It says that they can enter into our temple or our sanctuary to the third generation, right? So this was like a I guess you would say temporary law. It wasn't a law that was uh placed in place like forever, right? Because when it comes down to the Ammonites and Moabites, they can't enter into our temple at all, at all. They can't. But when it comes down to the Edomites and the Egyptians, they can though. But that's what it means when it says to not abhor them. Basically, like I said, in a ritual sense, we shouldn't I guess try to vex them or stop them or even shun them if they try to interact with us in our temple, or if they try to do certain things that may be ritual in our temple, right? But if those rituals have to pertain to our customs. They couldn't just come in there and just do whatever they want, you know what I'm saying? But as time went on, this temple got destroyed. This why you got to go into history. When you go into history and find out certain things in history, it'll tie into the Bible, because the Bible is history. The Bible contains history that we should. It contains prophecy of things that happen in history, right? So one thing I want y'all to put in y'all notes. In 70 A.D., the Romans, which are Edomites, the Romans, they destroyed our temple. The temple that was in Jerusalem, they destroyed it in 70 A.D. And like I said, there were certain laws that pertain to the temple. So them destroying that temple basically caused us to not have all the access to keeping certain laws of Yahweh, right? Because as y'all know, 1 John 5:3, the love of God is keeping his commandments. So these Edomites and these Romans, they destroyed our temple, and it basically, in a sense, caused us to not be able to truly and fully, completely love our God Yahweh. They basically, stopped us from trying to really keep our true culture and keep our true customs by preventing us from keeping the law to its fullness, right? So these Edomites, they destroyed our temple. Now, question: why would God continue? Why would God want us to continue to love somebody that destroyed our temple to stop us from following our God Yahweh? Why would Yahweh want us to continue to love people, or continue to love somebody that did something very wrong to us? And it's not only just that; it's other things to our history. But once again, if you just think about it in this context, like I said, that word abhor means in a ritual sense, meaning anything that we did in that temple, we can do it with the Edomites and the Egyptians. But since the Edomites or the Romans, since they destroyed the temple, we couldn't do that anymore. We couldn't go to those sanctuary at all and do any ritual, do any custom with them at all, because they destroyed it. And they tried to build their own custom and build it their own thing, and do their own, have their own beliefs, own gods, everything. They took everything and just anytime, because that's even in, like, I guess it's in First Maccabees, First and Second Maccabees, where there was times where we tried to build up our customs in the Gentile land when we were scattered to the land, right? And anytime we did that, or anytime our forefathers did that, the Gentiles, or like, the heathen, what they would do is that they'll try to tear down anything that we try to build up. Anytime we tried to build up our customs in their land, they was like, nah, we ain't going for that. You know what I'm saying? So they tore it down. You know what I'm saying? The same way they did our temple, the same way they did, anything else that we did. Took it, tore it down, destroyed it, stole it, whatever. It was always a negative, like, what I'm saying, uh, relationship between the Edomites and the Israelites. Always. So this law is basically temporary. We're not able to really keep it anymore because of the fact that how are we going to do our rituals? How are we going to keep our customs in a ritual sense if the temple is destroyed? Because once again, this law is referring to the congregation. That's what it's talking about. It's not talking about just actual hate. You know what I'm saying? That's not what it's talking about in this context. But like I said, in my part 2, I'm gonna make a video explaining exactly, if we should hate an Edomite or not. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give my, like, my opinion on things, right? But let me find another verse I want to go to. Now, this is one thing that I want people to understand. So I'm gonna just entertain. If we're not looking at this verse for the true context, I'm gonna just entertain the fact that people will say, "Oh, okay, you shouldn't hate an Edomite," right? People, they may have, like I said, pose that argument. You shouldn't hate white people. You shouldn't hate Edomites, right? So let me go to the literally 2 chapters later. 2 chapters later. Look at what it says, right? It says in Deuteronomy 25, and I'll start at verse 17. So it says, "Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way." So speak to Israel, and the message to Israel is to say, okay, don't forget what Amalek did to you, meaning that they did something wrong to us, right? Now, who is Amalek? Just prove that to y'all, because I did this in a few videos. But Amalek, he's the grandson of Esau. So Amalek, he's basically an Edomite, right? Anybody who was a descendant of the Amalek, or who was a descendant of Amalek, or considered an Amalekite, they're Edomites, right? So what is being said here is, it's being told to us to remember what the Edomites did to us, right? Then you skip down to verse 19. It says, "Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy God hath given thee rest from all thy enemies round about, in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven." What does it mean when it says that you shall blot out the remembrance of Amalek? It means to basically destroy them, to exterminate them, to make people forget that they even existed, right? So why literally two chapters? Like I said, this is me entertaining the fact that y'all think that Deuteronomy 23:7 says that we shouldn't hate and Edomite, right? So would you kill somebody you hate? I mean, would you kill somebody you don't hate? Would God force you to kill somebody that, or will God want you to break a law? Because I think that's what verse that is. Let me go to the hold up. Let me go to Ecclesiasticus 15:20. Salakia, hold up. Ecclesiasticus 15:20. Right. Let me show you what it says. So look, it says, "He hath commanded no man to do wickedly, neither have he given any man license to sin." So basically, Yahweh, he doesn't tell you to sin. He doesn't tell you to do anything that causes you to go against his law, right? He doesn't cause you to do anything that's sin, right? So if we're being told in verse 23 or chapter 23 to not hate Edomites, but then afterwards in verse 19 or 25, Deuteronomy 25 verse 19, it's saying that we should go out and kill all these Amalekites or Edomites, like, that doesn't add up. we gotta kill somebody that we should love. That doesn't make sense. That's backwards. But once again, when you understand the context of Deuteronomy 23, it wouldn't be no it wouldn't even seem like there's a contradiction. It's just a misunderstanding of scriptures, right? So that's what Deuteronomy 23 statement means. It means that we shouldn't hate an Edomite in terms of preventing them from interacting with us in the temple. Once again, the temple was destroyed by them. So it's free game. It's free play. Now Yahweh gave us the green light to destroy them. So we don't really even have to, interact with them anymore at all. We don't have to worry about trying to keep that law for real. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna give y'all a few verses that let y'all know how, once again, we were told it was like almost a commandment to go and destroy and kill these Edomites. But y'all say that we should love them. But it's a prophecy of how we're going to destroy them. So you gotta make this make sense. So 1 Samuel 15, I'm starting at verse 1. So it says, Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken unto the voice of unto the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt, right? Then in verse 3 says, now go and smite Amalek. So once again, if it's a commandment to love the Edomites, then why are we being told to go and kill them if we should love them? It said, and utterly destroy all that they have and spare them not. Like that's a huge contradiction. That's a huge problem. It's a huge problem for you to say that we should love Edomites and everything, but we're being told to kill them later on throughout the whole Bible, and how we're going to be the ones who are going to execute judgment on them. So let me go to Obadiah real quick. To show y'all Salakia. So Obadiah 1:18, the main verse that you can go to show white people their future or whatever, their judgment that's going to come on them. But it says, the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph shall be a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. So the house of Jacob and Joseph are basically the Israelites. The house of Esau, as y'all should know, the Edomites are the so-called white man, woman, and child. And basically, we're going to be the ones that's going to be like, a fire that's going to destroy Esau, right? And it says, and they shall kindle on them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, right? For the Lord has spoken it. Letting you know that this is basically like, the punishment that's coming to Esau or the white man, woman, and child by the hands of Israelites through the power of Yahweh, right? And I'm gonna get that verse, letting y'all know exactly how, Yahweh is gonna basically use us to destroy them, right? So let me go to Ezekiel 25 real quick. Ezekiel 25, start at verse 12. So as y'all see, the heading says Edom. As you know, Edom pertains to the Edomites or Esau. And it says, thus saith the Lord God, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, I will stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate unto man, and they of the Dan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. So Yahweh, he's going to use Israelites to destroy Edomites. But that's the same way he did with us. Like, we had to go through our punishments, right? And in Deuteronomy 28, it gives you all those curses, and you can see clearly how Yahweh, he basically used the Edomites, not just the Edomites, but he used anybody who was not an Israelite to execute judgment on us. He didn't come down from his throne to execute judgment. Like, no, he used certain people on this earth to place that punishment on us, from us, like, not what you call it, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, right? So, excuse me. So once again, like, how, just going back to the whole Abhor Edomite thing, how should we not hate Edom or Edomites, but we're being told to destroy them? We gotta kill people we shouldn't hate. And this doesn't make any sense at all. Doesn't make any sense. If you don't hate them, they should still be alive. You shouldn't be happy. You shouldn't have to kill somebody that you should be able to love. But let's go to Joel 3 real quick. Not only talk about just the Edomites, but also the Egyptians. How this punishment is exclusive to the Egyptians as well. Not just the Egyptians, but also the some Africans, the Asians, Ammonites, Moabites. It's exclusive to the Arabs. Anybody who is not an Israelite, they have a punishment coming to them. At the same time, too, there are some Israelites who are wicked and will, be a part of this punishment that's going to come, or this hell that's going to come. But the Israelites, they have, like, more, I guess, room to breathe. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have, like, more of an advantage because of the fact that Yahweh is on our side. But then a lot of people don't realize that, and it's going to be too late. It's gonna be too late when you realize that, damn, like, I literally had, low key, compared to everybody else, I had the easy way out. Like, to keep it above. The Israelites, we have an easy way out. Literally. Just because of the fact that Yahweh is on our side, we have an easy way to get out of our struggle. But the fact that a lot of our people are so lost and don't really want to understand the word, it's like, damn, well, what I'm supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? But let me go to Joel 3:19 real quick. Joel 3:19. So it says, Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. So this goes to the fact that they got to be punished. That's Proverbs, I think, 11:24, when it says that even though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. Basically saying that even though a lot of people in this world want to love the Edomite, they want to have all these Edomite friends and just love them with all their heart. But just because you love them, just because you're friends with them, does not mean that they won't be punished, right? People always want to say, oh, I have black friends. Just because you got black friends don't mean that you not racist. You know what I'm saying? That you didn't make a racist statement, trying to validate certain things or trying to get out of certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you can't get out of your punishment at all. You can't. Even if you try. Even if you try, you're not going to get out of it at all. If it's prophesied to happen, it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, that'll make God a liar. Because of the fact that there are too many things in the Bible that already came to pass. Not too many, but I'll say a good amount of prophecies in the Bible that did come to pass. But there are more in terms of the violence that's going to happen to other nations and other people. If that don't happen, then the whole Bible is a lie. Yahweh is a liar then. You can't sit here and try to deny prophecy of what's soon to come. But some people don't even understand prophecy. But getting back to the whole, topic, Egyptians and Edomites, they're going to both be destroyed. They're going to both be punished. Even though Edomites will have a worse punishment coming to them, but because they're they're the leaders and everything of this whole thing, and they really rule the world right now. But they're still every other nation, they're still going to have punishment coming to them. Because when you go to Amos real quick, you'll see the different lands, different people who are going to be punished and everything. But let me get to Edom real quick. So it says in Amos 1:11, it says, "Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof." So once again, that's going back to the whole verse when I said in Proverbs, how even though you join hands with the wicked, even though you're all buddy with the wicked, and you have such a strong love for the white man, woman, and child, just because you have a strong love for them does not mean that they will be exempt from their punishment. How it says, "Thus saith the Lord, I will not turn away the punishment." If he does, once again, he's a liar. Right? And then it says once again, it says because he did pursue his brother, talking about the Israelites, he did pursue his brother with a sword, and did cast off all pity, in his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. But I will send a fire upon the man which shall devour the places of Bosra. Right? Now you go to Isaiah 63, showing you exactly what Christ did in Bosra, right? Because look, it says, "Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bosra?" So this kind of going to prophecy of how Yahweh, Yahweh Shah, when he returns, he's going to go to the Edomites and basically kill them and destroy them. They're going to be the first stop, or I would say one of the first stops. He's going to destroy them and basically commit a whole just wipe out of them. You know what I'm saying? He's going to really kill them, but not just for no reason. No, he's going to destroy them because of the wrath that Yahweh had built up towards those people. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why his garments are dyed, or the reason that they're red and everything, because it says, "Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, in thy garments, like him that treadeth in the wine fat?" So that kind of goes to the whole wine press thing in Revelation. How there's going to be a wine press and everything, but his garments are red in apparel. So basically, he has blood on his garments from killing all these Edomites. So that even explains a little bit more. It's like, okay, so hold up. So we're being told to not hate Edomites, but then a few chapters later, we're being told to destroy them. And then in other chapters, we're being told to destroy them. And also we're being told that Christ, Yahweh himself, is going to destroy them. So should we really love them? Should we really hate them? Like what's going on? It's a very weird flip-floppy thing. You can't sit here and try to do both. You can't sit here and say that, oh, I love the Edomites, but I'm going to kill you. Like, no. That sounds kind of crazy. Like killing somebody in love. You can't love somebody and kill them. It don't make no sense. It's weird. That's some psychopath stuff. But let me see if I got a few more verses, because there's a lot of punishments that's coming to. There's a lot of verses I can go to talk about the punishment of the Edomites and everything, but I don't want to spill everything. I don't want to spill everything. I just want to kind of get to the important points. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like those were the important points that y'all need us to hear. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Hopefully y'all understood exactly what it means to not abhor an Edomite. Just to give a little bit of a recap, like I said, the word abhor is talking about in a ritual sense, referring to the temple, referring to how we were able to interact with the Edomites and Egyptians within the temple and do certain customs or keep certain customs and practices with them. But after they destroyed the temple in 70 AD, that law basically became temporary. How we weren't able to not abhor them in that sense because of the fact that they destroyed the temple. So now, because of them destroying that temple and also doing many other things throughout history, they got to be killed. They got to be killed. And let me bring up this one verse real quick. Hold up, block. I'm gonna bring up one more verse and I'm gonna be done. One more verse. So look at this verse, right? Let me go to Proverbs. And Proverbs got a lot of stuff in it. It got a lot of wise words in it. But let me go to Proverbs real quick. Proverbs 29 and verse 16. So look, it says in Proverbs 29, it says, "When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall." Right? So basically, this is the reason why, because this kind of goes into the question why, people may ask me, oh, why the white man has to be killed and why this, why that. The reason why they got to be killed is because of the fact that if Yahweh does not make these people extinct, once again it says that they're gonna try to multiply and cause transgression to come or to increase throughout the earth. And that's how it's been throughout this whole entire world. You know what I'm saying? How it's so much wickedness going on, it don't make no sense. And there are 100 different branches probably even 1,000 different branches of wickedness that I can like, pinpoint in this world nowadays, right? But this the reason why, like, they gotta get punished, and not only get punished, but become extinct, damn near, because Yahweh, he does not want any wickedness to roam on this earth at all, at all. So that's really all I got for y'all in this video. Hopefully this video made sense. Hopefully y'all understood exactly what it means to not abhor an Edomite. Hopefully y'all kind of got some little clarification and edification on a few things in this video. Like I said, in part 2, I'm gonna kind of break down, like, my opinion on whether or not we should actually hate, what I'm saying, the white man or whatever, and just kind of give y'all, like, my opinion, and also my viewpoint of just life in general, what I'm saying, in terms of like how I maneuver in a world that's filled with a bunch of Edomites. But that's all I got for y'all. I love y'all. Peace and shalom.